This is where we park our camper when we have it at home. We're not using it. And what we're thinking about doing is actually cleaning this area off right here over to these poles and putting some sort of base on it. We're not sure what we're going to use yet. I wanted to share it with you in case you're thinking about doing something like this at home yourself. But what I'll probably do is border that off across there so whatever it is I put on there doesn't flow over to the grass area. The reason I'm doing this is because we live in Florida, and Florida is nothing but sand. And that stuff tracks so much, it's just ridiculous. It just gets all over everything. So I thought, man, we should fix this up. Take some time and fix it right. You can see as I'm approaching it, where you can just see the sand all over the ground. It has to have full sun or it will just shade up and do this right here. This is one of our favorite places to set out whenever we're having company or doing something. We've actually got a little nigh, but I'd rather be outside. But I wanted to share this with you. So I was thinking about, we have these poles here because I got my tarp tied to it. So what I was thinking is maybe add one more pole in the center and then run the border across there like a board and then do the bottom the same way. We'll see how that comes out, but we're going to try to figure out what it is we're going to put on the ground here to build a base to keep from tracking all that sand in there. I wanted to share this with you guys because I thought maybe it might be a neat process to go through in case you're thinking about doing something like this at home and you don't have a lot of money to do it with. Because if we poured concrete here, that'd be a lot of money. And it'd just be very expensive. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna get started on it and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Here's where we're at now on this project that we're doing. What I actually had delivered here is called ground up tiles. They're kind of a terracotta concrete. Just a bunch of different pieces. Let me show you what some of the pieces look like. See if we can get it focused here. We just busted up pieces of tile, ran through a machine. They're hard as a rock because they are rock concrete like. It was the cheapest thing you could buy. I ordered, I believe it was 5 tons of it. I'm gonna put another 5 tons on top of it once I get it spreaded. This way I got me a really nice good base in the ground. So if I want to do something over the top of it, it has a nice base on it. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. Let me see if we can get a picture of it down here all together. Kind of looks like gravel. So he's got another truckload coming. I'm going to dump on top. I get the rest to spread it out. And we'll see what it looks like. Okay, we got all this stuff leveled out. We're taking a hose and hosing it down to get the dust off of it. And I noticed it's actually turning kind of a rusty red terracotta look. And the rest of it's just all gravel look where it hasn't got wet. We're going to use this as a base. It's much cheaper to use as a base than regular gravel. I thought maybe we might use it because of building a nice base underneath it before we put something smaller on top of it. But we'll see how this works out first. We got our base down, got the trailer set up on it. We're going to let the base settle in before we put a finer layer of a topping on it. But what we did here was, I had this thing sticking out, I think it was 20 feet. It was just too far out and didn't look right. I wanted to line it more up with the trailer straight across. So I took 5 foot off of it. It's only 15 foot. And the canvas, I think it's actually 16 foot. I don't know how that spanned it out like that, but it does. But this is what we've done. And this is where we're at right now. And once we get our other base on here to make a finer gravel or whatever it is that we end up putting on there, it'll be much nicer. But it makes a nice little setup here. Well, it's been a few days, and I wanted to show you what happened here. We've got our wall set up here, and this center pole actually warped. I don't know if you can see how crooked it's running right there. That center pole, that one right there, bowed on us. And you can see it on this side right here. So today, to straighten that out, I'm going to attempt to use an old method I've seen before, and that is to tie something to the top and something to the bottom of it. Preferably I got a cable. Then I'm going to put a jack in the middle here and jack it outwards, pushing the pole that direction. And we're going to let it set there for a few days while the pole's still curing. That's what started the whole problem, was the wood was not cured. And when you go to these lumber yards, they just pile it in there so fast and sell it that they just let it warp on you. But we're going to give that an attempt to see if we can get that straightened out. Okay, this is what I come up with. I remember somebody straightening a pole out like this once many years ago, probably over 30. But what I actually got here is a jack, just a car jack. And then I put these two blocks on each side of the pole so I can cut a groove in them to hold the cable straight. The cable comes down all the way to the ground, and the same thing at the bottom of the ground. I got the two blocks with the grooves in it so the cable won't slide or damage the pole. Then I got the jack here, which is actually expanding it out, pulling on the pole this way and pushing that way at the same time. Now I've got some tension on it, but I'm going to do this really slowly because if you don't, it's not going to stay. So I'm going to get back here and show you how crooked it is. Right about there, you can see how it's bowing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a water hose and hose this pole down and keep it wet until I'm done straightening it, and then we're going to leave it on there for a few days and let it dry like that. See what happens. Well, it's a few hours later, getting towards the end of the day. I've been out here watering this post down several times and tightening the jack up some, just twisting it so it gets a little tighter. And I'm going to show you how much straighter it's already getting. If you could see this board right there, you can see how straight it is. It was bowed way out. It's the same way on this side. It's starting to straighten up pretty good. So I'm going to hose it down a few more times, tighten it up a little extra just in case it tries to spring back in place. But if you look at the poles, when you're offsetting it like this, and you look at the poles, you can see they're lined up pretty good because you can't see the poles behind each other. That's a very good sign that we're getting them straight. That's where we are. We hope it works. Well, it's been a few days since we put that jack on that pole, and I just took that jack off to see how straight that pole was getting. And man, it made a big difference. I'm really surprised myself we even kind of straightened out like we did. You can see that how straight that is right down through there compared to what it was. And if I take the poles and line them up right here, let me see if I can get them just right. You can see that. That's a big difference it made. It's just something that I remembered, thought that I would try and share it with everybody else. This is where we're at. And we'll be making another video because I'm going to do some more improvements along the wall here, some other things. I ordered a new sunshade and a few other things we're going to put out here. But it'll be another video, so I don't make this video so long. But I definitely wanted to share that with you in case you ever run across that problem. And it actually worked. Thanks for watching, guys.